And we're back. Unfortunately, not enough time to discuss things at third. So I in our group, do you want to cover, Felipe, I hope I pronounced that right. Do you want to cover what we were just talking about?
Yeah, we were discussing about our idea of pressure injury monitoring and prevention. And basically, well, initially the need is to allow people with SCI to monitor and prevent pressure injuries. And we were discussing that there are different needs. There's one need for monitoring and these pressure points. And there's another need for movement. So people to move the person and switch these pressure points around. And that's where our discussion, I think.
Yeah. So I think that's a really good point to pick on, because depending on which need you focus on, you're going to have a different strategy and different problems. And that will lead to different ideas and different mechanisms that you will want to work through. So for example, because I know a little bit about this space, if your issue is to prevent, then the monitoring becomes crucial. And then you need to think about signs like heat distribution, pressure distribution. Differences in heat can be a signal of something beginning to develop, and that becomes a way of monitoring that and raising the alarm. If your need is to prevent, then why are you even monitoring? Why aren't you rolling people constantly over and over? Which is a completely different problem than it is to highlight where there may be problems. What about the other room?
That was very interesting, because actually Felipe and I, working on the same project, we had the exact same discussion that we should focus on. We should first make a decision if we are going for diagnostic or treatment, and focus on it. So that was a very helpful and yeah, good conversation there.
Each will have different strategies,
right,
and different potential applications.
Right.
Anyone else? I realize we have 2 minutes left, so just keeping to time. Okay, so please consider reaching out. Please consider submitting your ideas. The sooner you submit them, the sooner we can think about what resources and what are the things that we can do to help you along, and maybe even help you shape some of the ideas. The early bird to qualify for the $3,000 submission is April 5th. If you also want to be involved in the pitch competition, please also submit by April 5th your concept, which is a little bit more of a bar than just the 2-minute video pitch. If you need some assistance, and we're glad to share and talk. The next workshop will be looking at contexts, and I hope we can do some more of this discussion in terms of overall needs. I would very much like to thank Alexis and Terry for joining us today and help giving us feedback, as well as everybody else that is on the team. And I hope I don't forget anyone, but Julia, Zoya, Jillian, Tatiana, who wasn't able to make it today, Chris, that had to leave early. All of these people worked very hard to make all of this possible. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Praxis Institute, for all their help and support and direction. And I'd also like to thank our academic partners, Simon Fraser University, University of Calgary, University of Waterloo, and University of Toronto.